Sorry to scare you. Let me try that a bit gentler. I've never taken a tire off a rim before. Turns out it isn't easy. YouTube showed me a trick with a 4x4 in a vehicle, but I don't trust my driveway that much. After gentle pushing and saying please didn't work, I resorted to exploratory surgery. That seemed to work well. I only want the spoked portion of the rim for this project anyway. Figuring out how to mark the length of each spoke was a bit of a challenge. I tried the old marker on a string gag, but that only works well if you keep the marker at a static angle, which is easier said than done. Turns out I have the perfect tool for this job, a Brown & Sharp 622 that definitely hasn't ever been used as a phone holder. Since this is a hack job, I didn't try to scribe a line with the surface plate directly. Instead, I followed the scribe with a marker. And then I went back through and scratched the rust off under that marker to clarify the line so I could see it while I was grinding. Spent a lot of time trying to get all these contact points on the bottom of the base to sit on the same plane. I didn't expect the spokes to be concave on the back, and the jump from 5 contact points to 10 was a surprise. Finding no luck, and even less skill, with my problems suddenly doubling, I decided the best course of action was rationalization. Since my floor isn't level anyway, it's an old hunting cabin with cobbled together bits of plywood for a subfloor, what use in leveling this base? What use in leveling anything at all? For man born on unleveled surface will forever be crooked in his ways. Seeing not the plainer truth, misguided by angles unknown and universal, are our bases not just as unlevel as this tire rim, born uneven, battered by time, stumbling our way through life poorly balanced? Let them wobble, I say. For if we all wobble honestly, we may one day find the wobble opposite our own. Only together will our angles counteract and our wobbles become steady. And so, with wobbly base and existential dread filling my soul, I once again stuffed my problems deep down and doggedly marched forward. I've been saving this 10-pound weight for a special project. This project isn't all that special, but I need some weight on the base of this stand, and my sentimental attachment to this particular piece of scrap is reaching unhealthy levels of eroticism. To attach the base to the weight, I turned down a piece of aluminum and threaded a center hole in the bottom of it. The short length below the shoulder serves to register this piece in the center hole of the weight. Clamping plate and a bolt from the bottom of the base tie the weight and the legs together. The upright pole attaches to the top side of this piece by sliding around the extension that you currently see clamped in the chuck. I already turned that half of this piece, so I guess I should show that to you now. Now that the space-time continuum has been restored, we can move on to the upright pole itself. For this, I carefully chose the most bent piece of scrap pipe I had on hand so I could show off some of my acrobatic skills. Unfortunately, all the good footage runs counter to YouTube's discriminatory anti-plumber policies, so I'll need to buy a new belt before you get to see the good acrobatics. The easiest way I could think of to mark out 3 evenly spaced holes in the sidewall of the upright was to clamp my 3-jaw chuck to the end and scribe some lines roughly extended from the center of each jaw. From there, I drilled pilot holes in the pipe and then straight into the inserts so all the holes line up. I went back and forth on the design of the top portion of this numerous times. I considered using an old crusty motor flange to stay true to the scrap-only theme that my title implies, but ultimately discarded this idea because it was too time-consuming. Whenever I get stuck in a design rut like this, my go-to method for breaking out of it is to look into objects with a similar function for inspiration. Camera tripods are the most obvious reference here, but I wanted to make something a bit more flashy and a lot less practical. If I can't find any inspiration from a related object, I'll branch out into objects that are similar in shape alone, if not function. Trains, computer carts, mailboxes, lamps, anything on a pole, really, within YouTube's guidelines, of course. A design that stuck out to me was an old gas lamp with dual hanging lamps on either side. So what I ended up with was a design where the crown has 4 arms coming off the sides, and each end of those arms ends in a generic tool-holding turret. I liked the idea of being able to mount devices below the crown of the camera stand as well as above it. By this point, I'd gone back and forth on designs so much that I didn't want to take the time to fully explore this new turreted design and risk not getting the video out on time. The top ended up looking like a real-life Futurama prop, which is never a bad thing, just to be clear. But the bottom looks like a well-to-do moonshiner's house decor. This camera stand works with the tool stand and the swivel clamps from previous videos, and serves as a culmination of that series. This whole series was aimed at constructing a set of tools that allow me to record better quality footage quickly and easily. Now all I really need is some cinematography practice. There are a few more attachments and specific tools I'd like to add to this system, like lights, magnifying glasses, a clipboard holder, third arms. For now, I'm going to pivot into some unrelated projects for a breath of fresh air. If you want to see that, stick around.